Welcome back everybody, Matt the Matt here. Hope you're doing well. We've been talking a lot of Bond. Bond, Mama Ram. Well, yeah, we're gonna Mama here. Mama Ram. Bond, James Bond. Hello. First we had the short list of directors that Amazon was looking at. Then we heard out at the end of last week, Denis Villeneuve is going to be directing the new Bond. And now, somehow, somewhere, Amazon has already put out a short list of actors that they want to be possibly the new Bond. Even though Denis Villeneuve said just yesterday, we're not going to be looking for a Bond until we have a script. And right now we're still writing the script. So until the script is done, no Bond. No Bond for you. So now Amazon could have a list of potential actors. And that's all nice, that's all cool, that's cute. But let's get something straight. You're not going to find a Bond until you have a script to know what type of Bond is written. Yeah, you say you want a Bond in the early 30s, late 20s, early 30s. Okay, that still doesn't give me that much information. Is he going to be a tall Bond? Is he going to be a short Bond? Muscular Bond? The manly man Bond? I don't know. Blonde hair, dark hair. Maybe a redhead this time. I don't know. But for some reason, Amazon has put out a list of 3 actors. And that's the other thing, people. Let me tell you something. There's going to be more than 3 actors they're looking at to play James Bond. Just like when they went out to look for a new Superman, James Gunn auditioned hundreds and hundreds of actors to play Superman. Just like with the HBO Harry Potter series, they auditioned hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of kids to play Harry, Ron, and Hermione. They're not just going to narrow it down to 3 actors and hope one of them will work in the audition. That's not how it's going to work. Not only do they have to get a bunch of male actors for Bond, but then they got to get other actors, like female actors, to play like the Bond girl, and see in chemistry readings if they're going to work out or not also. So trust me, this list, I bet you $100, because that's all I'm going to bet you, that none of these actors are actually going to end up being James Bond. But for the fun of it, let's just talk about these 3 actors, even though, like I said, it's not going to be any of these actors. And if it is, oh boy, we're in trouble. Alright, let's start out with the first one. We got Jacob Elordi. A lot of people know him from Euphoria. He's also in some of those Netflix movies, The Kissing Booth. He was also in that Priscilla movie as Elvis Presley, or the end of 2023. Yeah, this guy, no. This guy, Warner Brothers wanted him to be Superman. He turned it down. He wanted him to be Batman for Matt Reeves. He turned it down. So you turn down those roles, but you might be going after James Bond. A, that doesn't make any sense. Number 2, I don't think he's a good actor. Sorry, he's boring to me. He's dull. He might be good looking, he might be tall, but guess what? He is not James Bond. He is not the Bond for me. I just don't think he's a good actor. Sorry. Now, like I said, this is my opinion. But everything I've seen him in, I'm like, I don't know. No. Just, no. Everything, I've seen some of Euphoria, okay. He's the hot guy that girls want to fuck. Okay? There's plenty of those out there. I've seen him in the movies, and nothing about him, even playing Elvis Presley, I'm like, and then he was in that one movie, what was it last year? Saltburn with Barry Keoghan. He didn't do much for me in that movie either. That was Barry Keoghan's movie. So, I do not see Jacob Elordi as James Bond. Not at all. And look, he's too well known now. That's the other thing I'm going to get into at the end. They're not going to go after an actor who can play Bond who's well known. Like, pretty well known. So Jacob Elordi, no. Now we go to Tom Holland. And this is laughable. This is truly laughable. In this moment, I feel like J. Jonah Jameson when Peter Parker comes in and Peter says, I want a raise. And this is J. Jonah Jameson. You know that scene in the movie? And then he looks at Peter, are you serious? Laughable. J. Jonah Jameson is laughing right now when he opens up the news and sees Tom Holland, James Bond. That's hilarious. I didn't know we were going with fucking Mini-Me as James Bond. It ain't gonna happen. Not gonna happen. Here is why, I don't know why I did that. Here is why this is not gonna happen with Tom Holland. Let's start out with number one. Tom Holland is still Spider-Man. Tom Holland is still Spider-Man. He's just signed on another contract to do more Spider-Man movies. The next Spider-Man movie doesn't even come out till next July 2026, which will be the 10-year anniversary of when he debuted as Spider-Man in Civil War. Now, they're planning to do a new trilogy with Tom Holland, and that new trilogy doesn't start till July 2026. Okay? That means even if they wait another 2 years after that and have the second or the fifth Spider-Man movie, that will be July 2028. Then if they wait another 2 years, you'll be like July 2031. Okay? See that? They want to have this Bond movie out by the latest 2028. Tom Holland is under contract with Sony and Marvel to be Spider-Man. They are not going to deviate from that contract. But Matt, Tom Holland did Uncharted. But audience, Uncharted is under Sony. Sony owns the rights to Uncharted. Sony owns the rights to Spider-Man. That's the only way he's able to do Uncharted. It's under the same studio. Now, Bond was under Sony, but not anymore. If Bond was under Sony still, then I would say this is more of a possibility. But not anymore. Also, number two. So not only is he going to be doing Spider-Man movies, but he's going to be in the Avengers movies, which they pushed back. So, remember that. Number two. Outside of Spider-Man, Tom Holland has not had any successful movies. And the only reason Spider-Man has been successful, not because of him, but because of the MCU and because of the name, Spider-Man. Who's the most popular comic book character in movies right now besides Batman? Spider-Man. When there's no Batman, we get Spider-Man. And when there's no Spider-Man, we get Batman. You get my point? Spider-Man's the name, the brand. People are going to see Spider-Man for Spider-Man, not Tom Holland. Everything outside of even Uncharted barely broke the barely broke even, just enough to get a sequel, and we haven't heard anything about that sequel now in 2 years. So who knows if they're actually moving forward with a sequel. But everything else has bombed or has been a failure for Tom Holland. The name Tom Holland isn't going to get people to see James Bond. Now people are going to say, well, Matt, you just said that was an oxymoron comment. If people aren't going to see James Bond for Daniel Craig, they were going to see James Bond for James Bond. Yes, you're right. So my point is Tom Holland's name means nothing at the end of the day. So between Spider-Man, between having a contract with Marvel, between all his other movies have bombed, and the other thing, no. Tom Holland is only 5'7". 5'7". We're going to have a 5'7" Bond. I don't think so. We're not having fucking Mini-Me as James Bond. Okay? But Matt, he's dating Zendaya. She's like 5'10". Well, good for her. Good for him. Most women don't go after short guys. Hey, doesn't matter how good looking they are, it's just a fact of life. Unless you're fucking Mini-Me or Danny DeVito. But I'm taller than them, so I got that going for me. Tom Holland worked as Peter Parker because he's short and he's nerdy, and that is what looks like Peter Parker. You're not going to get Tobey Maguire to be James Bond. You're not going to get Andrew Garfield to be James Bond. No. Tom Holland is 5'7". He's only about 2 inches taller than me. Every Bond, the shortest Bond, I think, was Daniel Craig at 6 foot. Everyone else is taller than that. Okay? And every fucking, you look at Sean Connery, you look at Timothy Dalton, you look at Pierce Brosnan, you even look at Daniel Craig. Those are men. Men. Manly fucking men. I look at Tom Holland, I do not say manly man. I say Peter Parker. You get my point. Even when they were looking at Henry Cavill back in 2006, when he tried out for Casino Royale, when he was an unknown, look at Henry Cavill. That is Bond. That's why he was Superman. Okay? You were going to get a guy who looks like a man. Not a 5'7" dude who still looked like he could be in high school. Not happening. Not happening. And like I said, they're going to go with someone who's more unknown. They are not going to go with Tom Holland. He's too big of a name. Not in terms of he's up here, but you recognize him. Oh, that's Spider-Man. They're not going to do that. Nobody knew Daniel Craig. Daniel Craig was only known for 3 movies, and all of them had small roles. One of the Angelina Jolie Tomb Raider movies, he was the son of Paul Newman in Road to Perdition, and he showed up in Steven Spielberg's Munich in 2005 with Eric Bana. And that was an ensemble. At the time, no one knew Daniel Craig. Even look at Pierce Brosnan. He was in a TV show, and he had a small role in Miss Doubtfire. That's it. That's all she wrote. Sean Connery, not well known. You get my Timothy Dalton. You get my point. When you get an actor like Bond, like Superman, you want someone more unknown. Now they can have a few credits under their belt, but nothing major. So no, Tom Holland is not going to be James Bond. Trust me, if they go with Tom Holland, you're going to hear a lot of outcry. Then we got the third runner-up on the list is Harris Dickinson. I do not know why those parents named their son Harry Dick, but wow, he must have been made fun of growing up. What's your name? Harris Dickinson. We're going to call you Harry. Dick. Okay. Those parents must have not loved him. Now this is one actor that I could see out of the other two. This is the only actor that I could actually see being the top choice. Number one, he's very unknown. I just saw that at the end of last year in Baby Girl with Nicole Kidman. And that was my first time seeing him. He's going to be in the Beatles movie, which, by the way, that might be the only hiccup in all of this for him. The Beatles movie is going to be 4 movies for each of the Beatles. That's going to take a long time to make. So he might be tied up with that for the next year plus. So that's probably the one reason he will not be able to be James Bond. Possibly. But even him, he has this... Now, he can get muscular. He can look the role of Bond. But he still has this face that looks too young. Once again, I don't know how young they want to go for Bond. And I don't mind a Bond movie where you start over even before he joins, the MI6. Like in Casino Royale. So if you want to go back to when he was in the war and all of that, that's cool and, move on up. But you don't want to go with someone too young. Like I said, you look at what Bond has looked like over the years, and you go, those are men. Those aren't little boys. And like I think he might be the only one that's unknown and has more of that physical physique for Bond. But he still looks pretty young in the face. But we'll see. I personally think that none of these names are going to end up being Bond. I think they're going to go with more of an unknown, like a Daniel Craig, like a Pierce Brosnan at the time. Like I said, if there was one actor, I would say Aaron Taylor Johnson. He has the look, he has the physique. But the only problem is he's well known. He's too well known now. If it was Nottingham like 15 years ago, when he did Kick-Ass, then I would have said, okay, yeah, him. But like I said, I don't think, because to me, the actor that I've always wanted to be Bond was Michael Fassbender. But now that he's too old, and he's too well known now, back, 15 years ago, he would have been the perfect James Bond. But like I said, Michael Fassbender to me would have been a perfect James Bond 15 years ago. Right after X-Men First Class or whatever. But he's too old and he's too well known now. That's why you see some of these names. Tom Hiddleston, no. Like I said, they're looking at Aaron Pierre, who was just in that Netflix movie, Rebel Ridge or whatever. But he just got cast as the Green Lantern in the Green Lantern show. And guess what? He's under contract now for Green Lantern for the foreseeable future. They're not going to have him jump over to James Bond. That's not going to happen. So really his name is off the table now. So Like I said, I think we might find out by the end of the year who's going to be the new Bond, but I do not think it's going to be Tom Holland. I hope to God it's not Jacob Elordi. Oh my God. In that case, I would rather have Tom Holland than Jacob Elordi. And Harris Dickinson, Harry Dick, that will be the title if he gets announced. Harry Dick is the new James Bond. Great. He might be the only one on the list that has the full potential to be Bond. He's unknown. He has a physical look. He looks like he can also get a little bit more jacked up. And, all of these guys are in their late 20s, early 30s. That's what they want. So, but I don't want Mamie Bond. I don't want Mamie Bond. Tom Holland is Mamie Bond. Don't want that. I don't want a high school Bond. No. I want a manly man. Like I said, back in the day, I would have said Richard Madden from Game of Thrones. He looked like he could be James Bond. But once again, he's up there in age now. He's in his 40s. But hey, we'll see. But I would rather go with the unknown. Give me someone we've never seen before. That way we really see him in the role. Now, oh yeah, that's the guy from Spider-Man. Oh, that's the guy from Euphoria. I don't want that. I want an unknown. Or at least so minimal of a resume that you never even heard of the movie he did. That's what I want. But let me know in the comments below. Do you like any of these three names? I don't. Would you rather just have an unknown? Let me know in the comments below.